create a situation in which the users that we were registering yesterday, and we can even register a new one today if we want, can have some item associated with them. And in previous iterations of the stack, they had done shirts. I think today I'm going to do hats, just for fun. All right. So we're going to make it so that each user can have a bunch of different hats, and then we'll have some different pages where we can actually create a new hat. We'll have a page maybe where we can update one, and of course on the page where we display all the hats, what else do you think we can probably do?
Their owners.
Display their owners.
Yeah, although the owner is going to be the user who's logged in at that particular time. So like when he goes to his home page, he's going to see all of his hats. Yeah.
Delete a hat.
Yeah, we could delete hats as well. So we'll have like the full
Name them.
CRUD deal.
Name hats.
Yeah, and we'll be naming them when we create. Actually, we won't give them a name, I don't think. Probably something else, right? So let's get into our actual code here. We had our models file. So let me just close that out. All right, so we want to create a hat model. Okay, let's do that. So let's say class hat, and that extends always from the same thing. So models.model. All right, what kinds of attributes do we want a hat to have?
Brand.
Brand. Okay, that's a good one. So brand.
Color.
Okay, yeah, hang on 1 second. So we'll do car field, I don't know, max length 60. Color, you said? Okay, solid. Could probably make that even smaller, right? A color might be, I don't know, no more than 10 characters. What was the other thing?
Size.
Size. All right, I like that. So for size, let's just do, we only need that to be one character, right? Maybe SM, L.
Maybe two.
Keep it simple.
Two.
Small,
Extra
medium,
large. Like that.
Oh, extra large. All right, fine. Max length. All right, for those big heads. All right, fair
Maybe
enough.
Sombrero and jumbo one.
Yeah, jumbo. There you go. Type.
Yeah, like snapback, fitted.
All right, let's stick with 3. Okay. No, that's good. I mean, you guys have a lot of ideas, but let's just stick with, say, these 3. That's probably fine for now, right? What else do we want to put in there?
Owner.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in a second, but let's do our created at and updated at, right? And I'll just copy these guys because they're exactly the way that we want them. Okay, good. So as Alan was saying, we want to have a owner for these hats, okay? And let's explore how we're going to do that. So we're going to say owner, and we can call this whatever we want. We could call it user if we want. But let's just stick with owner because I like that. And then we'll say models dot foreign key. Okay, and what do we want this owner to reference? So when we do this foreign key, we need to give it the model that it's going to be referencing. User, right? Okay, and then we also have this other argument that we can do, related name. You guys remember what related name is going to mean?
What the foreign keys are matching or something?
Yeah, so what that's going to do for us is it's going to add something to our user model, essentially sort of an invisible field, called whatever we put in the related name, so that when I want to see a user's hats, I can just call in that invisible field. And then I could say, like, if we just call it hats, for instance, I could say hats.all to give me all the hats that belong to that specific user. Okay? So what do we want to call that? Just hats? Does anybody want anything else? Does that make sense to you guys? Hats, fair enough. All right, cool. So what else do we need to do now that we've actually created this hat model? Before that, before we migrate, make migrations. Yes, it's a 2-step process. Always, right? Okay, so let's get inside of our terminal here. I'll stop the server and we'll go Python manage.py make migrations. Okay, so you can see we just created a model called hat. And then we're going to migrate. Okay, cool. So everything went as expected. Now let's just, so I still have our database over here, and let's just browse the data real quick. Oops, open database. Let me just open up this project real quick. So we are inside documents, Dojo, stacks, Python, good grief. Lectures, login rich. Okay. So here we go. We've got our database structure. So again, we've got our users, which are in here. So if we browse this table, we have a couple users. There was Justin and myself. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add some hats to the database from the shell, and then we will connect them to a particular user. Okay. So now that we've run our migration, how do we get inside the shell? You guys remember?
Do the Python manage.py shell.
Very good. Manage.py shell. Oh.
We import those apps when we get in there.
Import those what? Those
The
apps?
Yeah, or the
Import
model.
Okay.
the models.
Yeah, in fact, well, and I was going to ask you, so what do we need to do now that we're inside? And as you said, we need to actually import our models. Okay, so if I do,
100 times.
oh, you made that mistake a bunch of times?
Oh yeah,
Every time.
Every time. Okay. So our app was called main, and that's inside apps. And then we also need to go to the models, and we can go import star, which would import all the models from there. So if I go user, I actually have a class called user. If I go hat, then I'll have a hat class, right? Okay, so let's create a new hat. How are we going to do that?
Hat.objects.create.
Very good. So, excuse me, what do we have here? Brand, color, and size. All right, so let's kind of go, we'll just go in order. All right, so what do we want the brand to be? What was that?
New era.
New era. Cool, I've never heard of that. Sounds pretty cool. Yeah, sorry.
It's all the Major League Baseball hats.
Oh, they make all the MLB stuff. Okay, cool. So color is going to be what? Blue. Fair enough.
Good layers.
Yeah, Doyers. Size equals small. Okay. How about the owner? How am I going to add in an owner? I'm not going to do it by ID. So I guess there is a way to do this by ID. If I were to go owner underscore ID, then I could directly set that ID. Okay, but we're actually going to do it. What we want to do is we want to pass in a complete user object. So how can I get one inside here? So yeah, I have a couple IDs here, 2 and 3. So let's just let's do this for Justin. Okay, so we'll say get, and then ID equals 2. Okay. Is there anything else that we need to pass in here? We don't need to do created@, and updated@, right? So we should be good there. All right, let's see what we got there. We got a hat object. Okay, so if I say, oops, actually, let's just do it from here. We can browse the hats table real quick. So browse table, and there we go. I've got it, my new era blue cap. All right, let's create a couple others. What else do we want?
You gotta get a sombrero.
Sombrero? Yeah, but what would the brand of that be? Huh? New Era again? They make sombreros. They make it all.
They're very diverse.
It's new sombrero.
Yeah, there you go. Sombrero. Okay, so a sombrero is what, like a yellowish color?
Yeah.
Like, oh, gold. I like
I
that.
had a black and gold one.
Let's say it's gold. All right, JJ, you just got yourself a gold sombrero.
Except I would never fit into like a small hat.
Yeah, the last one I made was large.
Oh, okay. Good.
So the small one, you could just pass that down the line to someone else who can wear it, right? All right, so we'll create one more for you.
Oh, we can trade that.
Whoops. Yeah, let's do some trading, right? New era. Okay, so this one is going to be, how about we say taupe, is that what you're saying? Or an actual top hat? Yeah, we didn't put style in there, but let's just call it, say this is purple, right? Purple, medium. All right. Cool. So you've got those hats. Let's create a couple hats for myself. So I'm user ID 3. All right. What color do we want this to be? Black.
Tiffany blue.
What, Tiffany blue? Is that what you said?
Pink.
Pink. Jesus.
I honestly wonder.
I don't think I'd rock a pink hat. Sorry about that. It's just not gonna work for
You
me.
can pull it off.
Yeah.
All right.
Morley, what's in your hat closet?
I do not even have one. I have like one single hat and that is it. Yeah. And it's got nothing on it. It's just like no brand, no nothing. Yeah, super simple. Yellow. Okay, so let's do a yellow one. That's a good idea.
Send me the PNG.
Yes. All right, here we go. So let's see what we got inside our table again. If I refresh this, now we got some hats. So again, we'll see over here the owner ID for the first three, JJ's ID. And then for the next two hats, we have my ID on those guys right there. Okay. So the first step, what we're going to do is basically on the home page, we just want to show what hats that person has. All right. So let's start doing the logic for that. We have our views.py. Let's go to our homepage route. Okay. So at first, what we were doing is we were sending in this context object that just has a name in it. How about if we send in the entire user object? Because that's going to give us access to what? Everything. Okay, what specifically are we trying to display though?
Their hats.
Their hats. Yeah. So let's just send in the entire user object, and then of course from that object we'll be able to still greet them by name because we'll have access to the first and last, right? So we'll say the user, oops, I need to quote that. I forget that sometimes, is just the user. Okay, and then in that home page, let's change this. How are we going to reference this now? Yeah, we'll just do first name. We don't really need last name. And let's make sure this is still working. So if I go here, let me refresh this. My server is not on right now because I had the shell open. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's just our home. Right. Okay, so exit out of there, and let's go python manage.py, run server. Alrighty, let's refresh that guy. Okay, so the first name's still working, so we're all good there. So let's just create a little table. You guys are probably doing this all the time as you're sort of iterating through lists, right? Let's come down here. Table. My table is going to have a T head, it's going to have a T row, and it's going to have TH. We have those three attributes, I think, right? Plus we're going to have like an actions column. So let's do times 4. And then let's go up, where's my hat key? Let's go up twice, T body, TR, TD times 4. Oh, isn't that nice? Like, I just like every time this happens, I love it. All right, so we have our brand was our first thing, and then we had our color and size. Okay, and then we're just going to have this little actions column right there. Okay, now what I want to do is create my for loop in here. So we're going to say for hat in, and this is the big dun 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 moment. What am I iterating through, folks?
User.hats.
Anything else? That's close. Really close.
Just user.
No, we don't want to just iterate through user. You almost had it, Alan. Like, what else do we need to add to that? So you said user.hats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dot all.
Dot all.
Oh.
Oh, here it comes. All right. All right then.
Give me some water.
Yeah. User.hats.all. Okay. And so for each hat, we're just going to output that hat's information. So hat brand, and then hat.color. All right, and let's just do this because I'm lazy. Size. Actually, the actions is going to be different, so let's get rid of that. Okay, and let's just make sure this is working so far. So let's go over here and refresh this guy. Hey, not so bad, right? I've got those two hats.
Oh, speller.
Whoa, did I spell that wrong? Oh, sorry about that. Let me just fix it in here. Whoa, I did spell that wrong. Can I? Sorry about that. How do I execute this query? Anybody know how? Oh, I just need to write changes, right? Okay, cool. So if I refresh this and I refresh the page, there we go. All right, cool. So let's add in some actions here. The actions that we want are, we'll have three different things. We'll have like a view page, and then an edit page, and then we'll just have like a delete link. Does that make sense to you guys? All right, so let's just say ahref equals view. So we'll say, what's our URL going to be here? Hats/ID, right? Makes pretty good sense. So let's just say hat.id. Okay, and then we'll just say view. I'll put a little pipe in here. Let's duplicate that guy down. All right, and then the next thing is going to be edit. Okay, so we'll do hats/ID, and then we'll say edit. Okay.
What does the pipe do?
Nothing at all.
Oh,
Nothing at all. Yeah, it's just basically going to separate these links, but it's not special. Okay. The other thing is going to be delete. Okay, so we'll do hat/ID/delete route.
Well, Morley,
Huh?
won't you need your delete in a form, since it'll be a post method?
It could be, but in this case, it's not going to be. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, if you were trying to make it as a button, that button would most likely be inside of a form. I'm just going to make it as a link. I don't want to go through the hassle of doing a form, but that doesn't mean that you guys can't or shouldn't.
Does that
All right.
mean?
And it was
Huh?
Does that mean
less
if
more
I
weird.
actually?
You did, yeah. Huh?
Does that mean if I actually know the URL, I can just type it, and then even if it's not my hat, I'll just type it.
It does, right? That creates some security concerns. Yeah. Now we're not going to mess with that, but obviously, like, let's say we're hitting a view hat page, and that hat does not belong to you as a user. Well, you could obviously send that user back to his own homepage or something like that. You could have logic that checks, is this the proper owner? If it's not, then send him away. Same thing on the other things, like if they hit an edit route and that hat doesn't belong to them, I can very easily find that out, right? Because I know when I query for the hat, I'm going to know who its owner is, and where do I have the current user in session. Yeah, so I can very quickly check.
Do we need to consider those situations in the building plan?
If it tells you to. Yeah, if it's part of the spec, definitely. But I don't know that it will be. Can't tell you one way or another. Okay, so
Can you give us an idea of how hard this is going to be?
well, you know, it's like the difficulty is so relative. It's relative based on your skills and what your aptitudes are, you know. It's like, are you really good at queries if you're doing it in Flask? If not, then, you know, try to get better over the next few days.
according to Michael Choi in one of his videos,
Michael Choi.
70 to 80% of the applicants for instructor at Coding Dojo fails the exam. That's according to Michael Choi.
Jesus.
So the applicants for instructor.
Yeah,
Fails his first belt exam.
not
Fails
first,
the Python.
just exam in general. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Python one.
All right, so
Black belt, black belt.
Why are you scaring me?
Someone say sick.
No, he's giving me like
An idea.
The apostle of
I'm
Michael.
just
he's giving me a way out.
That's kind of funny.
Alan, and he's spreading propaganda.
Michael Choi said.
Man, yeah, Michael Choi said this. Michael Choi said that. All right, guys. So let's stay on track here. I've just opened up the page source so that we can see that actually the hat IDs are being populated inside these links. So that much is good, right? What do I need to do to make these links active? I got to create the routes because obviously if I hit these pages, what would I expect to see?
404.
Yeah, some kind of URL error, right? So if I go here, well, there we go, page not found. I don't have a hat/ID/edit page. Okay, so let's create those guys. So inside our urls.py, got some routes here. Let's say this r, and that's going to be hats, right? What do I need? I need hats by ID. That's the first one, right? So how do I do this guy? So the uppercase P, right? And then I add these brackets. This is going to be what I call it. So let's say we call it hat ID. And then the actual regex pattern means we can say \d plus. So that just means one or more digit. Okay. Now let's put a comma back here. And you can always add a comma to the ends of these if you guys find that you're forgetting to add them. That way if I duplicate this down, well, now I've got the comma every time, and it's not going to throw an error for that. All right. So for the hats by ID, let's end the pattern here, and then we'll have a method or a function that we haven't yet created. We'll call it ShowHat. Okay. And then this route right here is going to be our edit route. So we'll end that pattern here with the $sign again. And we'll say views.editHat. Okay. And then finally we have this delete one, which is going to be views.deleteHat. And there goes Alan. I'll see you, Alan. Later, man. All right, so what's the squiggly telling us?
That you haven't created that.
That we haven't yet created this function. So VS Code is being very nice here and telling us what's going on. If I hover over it, main.views has no ShowHat method. Okay, cool. So let's create that, right? We'll go to our views.py, create some new stuff here. So we'll say def ShowHat. What am I going to take in my ShowHat method function? The ID, right? Yeah, hat ID. Good. All right. And then what am I going to do inside this ShowHat thing?
Get it and then.
Yeah, let's get it. And so let's do it all in one shot. So let's just return render, and then I'm going to give it the request, and then what are we going to render? A ShowHat page, which we don't have yet, again. So we'll say main ShowHat.html. And then let's give it this context dictionary. So we'll say the hat, need to quote that, is going to be hat dot objects dot get. And what do I pass into here?
Hat ID.
Yeah, hat ID. Oops. Hat ID. Cool. We should be good on, whoops, did I not bring in hats? Okay, yeah, so we just created hats today, which means that I also need to import that. If I change this to import all, so if I change it to star, that means it'll pull in all the models that I have in that particular.
What? There was
File.
something that they wrote about like, not using
Yeah,
the star.
don't do that.
All right, well, let's not do it then.
I don't know. It just
I know. I don't usually do it either. I was just showing you guys a different way to do it all.
It's just like
That's a recommendation from
Michael Choi, you're like the voice of Michael Choi in our class. I love that. Yeah. Like whenever when all else fails, we have the voice of Michael Choi at our disposal, right? Okay, cool. So we have access to hat now. Yeah, brainwash. All right. Yeah. Show hat. Okay, so we just got to create this page. Let's just throw some stuff in there. Okay, so we're gonna send in a hat. Let's just do some p tags with the information. So we'll say hat page. Boom. All right. P tag is gonna be brand. All right. Brand would be hat.brand. And let's just duplicate that down. So our color, same thing. And then we got size, right? What else do we want to put on here? Or could we put on here? Yeah, let's do that, right? Okay, so let's just say owner is going to be, how do I reference that? Do I need the dunder? No, right? First name, and then maybe we'll do last name too, just for fun. Huh?
When do you need it under?
Like if we were trying to look at it in the shell, we might do dot dunder dict dunder,
Okay.
double under dict double under, and that would actually show us all of the key value pairs in the dictionary. So.
I'm authenticated to my account, but why would I show my own name?
Yeah, seriously. We're really just doing it for demonstration purposes. But yeah, like in terms of that stuff.
But this
yeah.
route could be public though.
But the other good thing about this though is that I don't need to do a separate query to go get this specific user like I did before on the homepage. Remember how we were getting that specific user so we can address them by name?
Yeah.
Now I can just get them because they're associated with this particular hat. Assuming we've sort of locked out anyone who shouldn't be seeing it.
It's like you go into your account somewhere.
Of course.
That's all
Yeah.
that's all the data.
No, this is not like, hey, this is a fantastic app. This is just to show you guys, well, how can I access the owner from that hat? That's all. All right, so last name. Oops. Okay, cool. Let's save that. Did we save the views.py? That was all good, right? Oh, it's still complaining about our other methods, so I guess we got to create those guys. So let's just create, oops, def edit hat request, and that's also going to take in a hat ID. Pass for now. We'll add it later. Def delete hat. Is that what I called it? Delete hat, yes, okay. Good, so we'll take in the request again and a hat ID. Pass. All right, let's see if that clears our problem there. Good, we're good to go. So let's see if we can actually view a hat now. Yes, we can. All right, any questions about how we made that page work before we move on to the other stuff?
Go back to the URLs for a second.
Sure.
Just want to see what it has. This sounds a lot like the bomb, but I don't have it. So what are you? Which one's that? And what are we?
So we're on line. Oh, sorry, this is too small, right? We're on line 10 right now, and we're just simply showing the hat. What's that? Oh,
You're
oops.
typing the hat ID, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You're passing the hat ID.
Dang it, this is so
And
slow.
then in HTML, we add
So in the HTML, when we hit this ShowHat function, what we're doing is we're taking in that same hat ID that was coming in through the URL. And then what I'm doing is I'm grabbing that particular hat, by just using hat.objects.get by ID. Okay, does that pretty
So right now you're just showing that.
just showing?
Yeah, that's stuff I have right. So we can talk about after I want to take the time for the habit. It's like associated author.
Oh, okay, yeah, actually
Yeah,
that's
we'll
a
do that after.
that's a good point. We actually probably should have an add hat route, right? Let's build that real quick. So add hat is just going to take in a request, and what's it going to do essentially? It's just gonna render a template. So let's just render request, and then we'll say main new hat.html. Okay, so if I go inside here, let's create a new template called new hat.html. Good, we got that. Let's create a little form. And then inside that, we'll have some different stuff. So we'll have a div. Actually, let's group these. So we'll have a div, and then each div will have a label. Whoops. Label plus input. Let's say that's text. And then we also want to have a button, right? Okay, so I don't know why it won't split this up for me. Anybody know why it won't do that? No.
I guess when you use the divs, right?
Does it work if you do p tags? So if I change this to a p tag, would it behave? Oh, Jesus. Not like that. No, it doesn't even want to do anything now. Alright, Jesus. Alright, so that's not working at all. Let me just try with p tags, and then if that doesn't work either, then oh well. Alright, so inside each p tag, let's have a label plus an input of type text, and then we'll do that 3 times for the 3 different things that we want. And then we'll say plus a button to submit the form. No, it still didn't do it. That's kind of a drag. Alright, because I just want to separate this out a little bit better so you guys can see. So if I go like that, whoa, not like that, like this. Okay, cool. Alright, so our first label, we just want brand, right? And then the name of this guy was going to be brand, color, size. Alright, what else do we need to put inside this form every time? Token, nice. I could tell Alan got kind of excited about it. Token!
I'm waiting for you to ask.
Nice, so I appreciate that. You were just ready to go. Yeah.
Michael Choi says.
So the CSRF token, the CSRF token, or CSRF, if that's easier for you guys to remember, is essentially set up so that we're not able to send requests from other sites or from something like Postman. Not necessarily, because here's what could happen. Let's say I visit this site that I'm trying to send post requests to, and I go find out what that CSRF token was. Then I'll just include it with my Postman requests. Right? So it's not really like, this isn't sort of the ultimate in security. It's just sort of throwing up a little wall, you know, a little barrier, but it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so where do we want the action to go to?
Create hat.
Yeah, I'm probably going to say like something like /hats and then create.
Is that specific to Django?
Which one? The CSRF token? Yeah. Yeah, because you guys, if you're doing Flask, you won't be using those. All right. Or let's just do a post request to hats itself. That's kind of cool, right? It's like we're creating a new hat. Method equals post. All right, let's see if this page actually works. So if I go hats new, whoops. Did we create a route for that? No, right? Let's create it. All right, so hats, we'll say URL. Whoops. I'm just going to copy this even though I'm going to change it. So do that guy. And then instead of hats ID, we're just going to do hats new. And then we'll say new hat on that guy. All right, should work now, right? Any problems there?
I think the function is just called new.
Oh, it was add hat. Yeah. Yeah, that little red squiggly was telling us. Okay, cool. So we have our form. Now what do we have to do to actually handle that form submission? Yeah, I have to actually create that route that I was just hitting. So it's going to be, whoops. It's just going to be /hats at this point. And then I'll use this $sign to tack it off so that none of the routes after that would get matched. Okay. So we'll call this create hat, and then it'll tell us that function doesn't exist. All right. So if I go back to my views.py, let's create the hat. Create hat. I'm going to take in my request, and then again, I'm just going to set. We'll set post equal to request.post. That way I don't have to keep referencing it again. All right, and then we're going to say hat.objects.create, and then we want to say brand equals post brand. Oops. Okay, color equals post color. And then we had size too, right? Size equals post size. All right, cool. And then what else do we need to add in there? What's going to be connected to the hat? What? Owner. Yes. Good. All right, so owner. How am I going to get the owner? User, what else? Dot objects. All right, we're getting there. Dot get. Okay. What am I going to pass in here? Hat ID. What? Remember, we're trying to get a specific user, right? So we don't want to. We're not getting them by hat ID. How are we getting them?
What's our form input?
Session. There, I heard it. Very good, guys. So our ID is just coming from our request.session, and our specific property that we have is called user ID. Okay? Huh?
We already create that session already.
Yeah. Remember yesterday, login reg. Yeah. So so that should get the specific user that's logged in right now. What else do we want to do after we create our hat? Anyone? As I'm typing it now, you're seeing it. Show the hats? Well, let's send them somewhere else. So usually when we do some kind of a post request, we'll then reroute the user back to some other page. Make sense? Yeah, let's just go back to the home page. So that was home page there. Okay. All right. Let's test this out. So let's say the brand is Nike, the color is orange, and the size is large. Oh, we'll do XL because, you know, there was a request for that. All right, submit that. Hey, boom. Nike orange XL. Okay. Any questions about what we just did with the hat creation and how that's associated with this specific user? That makes perfect sense to you guys? All right. Very good.
Hey Marley, I know
Yeah.
we can look at, but do you think the thing that I was having an issue with is I was using session? Would that possibly be the issue?
What were you using session for?
Well, basically doing the same thing, like adding a book to a user or to an author. And I'm just wondering
We'll check it out.
We'll check it.
Yeah, I'm not
That's
sure
interesting.
because I can't.
And then
I
you
only
know-
I only saw sort of like a very small part of your
Yeah,
code.
I'm just
Yeah.
wondering if that's it. That was interesting. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. No worries. We'll get there. All right. So let's have another function to delete hats. We want to do that, right? That'll be pretty easy. Okay. So far we were just passing here. So what do we want to do? Well, let's get it first, right? We need to actually get the hat. So ID equals hat ID. And then what do I want to call once I have that? Delete. Okay. And then what do I want to do?
Redirect.
Yeah, so normally we always redirect from post requests, like if we're submitting a form or something like that. In this case, because I just made it a regular link, we also want to redirect from this as well. Because, you know, we want to bring them back to the home page to show them, hey, that hat's gone now, right? So let's return, redirect, again, / homepage. All right, and we had the route for that already, I believe, right? I think we did. Yeah, so, but the create hat one, what is, oh, I just need to save it. Sometimes the red squiggly sticks around even after you've saved the file. So anyway, we should be good. We've got this delete route right here, which we're going to hit, and then it routes to the delete hat function. So let's do that. So let's just delete this guy right here. Okay. Yeah, super simple, right?
Is there a
There
way
it goes.
to whenever you're deleting something, typically you see something that says, "Are you sure you want to delete this?" And
You could do that in JavaScript.
okay.
Yeah. That's all that is. It's basically JavaScript. Is you'll throw up a confirm in JavaScript, and then if they click yes, then you continue. Otherwise, you stop it.
Can you not add it here in the delete function? Or no?
Well, we're not. No, because we're not submitting this through JavaScript. We're actually submitting it with through a regular hit. Yeah.
Well, then why if somebody mistakenly deletes it, but then they don't want it back? It's gone. Or...
We can have an extra page asking,
I'm
are you sure? Right?
Oh.
But
Okay.
That's why.
No,
They make it
You
small.
bring up a good point though, and later on when we do things in the mean stack, you could easily add something like that in there because in the mean stack, we're not actually going to be doing regular form submissions like this. We're going to be sending it to the back end through JavaScript. Okay, so you'd be able to sort of intercept something like that and then ask them, "Are you sure you want to do this?" All right, fairly trivial. But let's keep going. So the only other page that we're missing right now is what? Edit page. Okay. And I think we don't yet have we had a little method or a function for that, but we don't have it doing anything yet.
Why are we layering? Is it difficult to layer edit on the details page? Because that's how you usually do it. And, your web-
Would you guys prefer to put it in there?
No, I mean, what's the added?
This is all just for demo purposes. So again, like I'm just showing you guys we're going to flesh out some routes and some different pages. Doesn't mean that every app should be like this or anything like that.
I mean, just
Okay.
normally if you went to a website, you're not going to have multiple pages.
Yeah, we might as well just have one page that does editing and showing. I agree with you. However, chances are your test might have those two things split up. So yeah, better that we demo it that way. All right, so on the edit page, what else do I need to grab? Or what do I need to grab? I haven't gotten anything yet.
The hat ID.
I need to grab the actual hat itself, right? So let's just render out a template, and this will be main, we'll call this edit hat.html. Okay, and then we're going to give it this, whoops, we need to give it the request. Sometimes I forget about that. And then we're also going to give it, excuse me, a context dictionary as we always do. So let's say the hat is going to be what? Hat.objects.get ID equals hat ID. Okay. Where? Oh yeah, on this one. Yeah. Good call. All right, cool. Why are we sending the hat into the edit page?
So that we can render the pre-populate.
So that we can pre-populate the form with the existing information. All right, exactly. So let's just create this actual edit page. So we'll say edit hat, HTML. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab my form that I had from the new hat so that I don't have to redo this. Okay. Drop this guy in here, and then what do I need to change about this form? It's mostly ready. Yeah, I do need to change that. So let's say we're going to post to hats and then the hat ID, right? Hat.id. Okay. And then, so not the placeholder, we're actually going to change the value. So let me. So and that's an interesting point. So placeholder, all it's doing is it will show something when that form input is completely blank. Okay, but it's not actually going to change the value itself. If we put it in the value, that means that if I put my cursor inside that input, the value is already what it was before, and then I can change it very easily. So let's say value equals, and then here, what's my value going to be for this? Hat.brand. Yeah, using the double mustache, that's correct. Here we'll go hat.color. And then here we'll go hat.size. Oops. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let's try to go to the edit hat page. Should work, right? There we go. All right. So the only thing we need to do is just handle the submission at this point. Let's just handle the submission, redirect back to the home page, and we're good to go. Right? This whole thing is like CRUD friendly now. All right. So let's create a route for that. urls.py. My route was going to be I'm posting to a specific hat ID. Shoot. Actually, I already have a route hat ID, right? Let's change it. Oops. So let's just bring this guy up, and then we'll say we're going to post to update. All right. Does that make sense? And then let's change the method here. So we'll say UpdateHat, or the actual function name. And then let's change in the, where was the edit hat thing? Edit hat. Let's just change this so that it points to update, like that. Okay. And then it's telling us here that we haven't yet created this function. We don't yet have our update hat, so let's just create that. And then we should be good. So let's create it down here. Def update hat. It's going to take in a request, and what else? Hat ID. Okay, our post is just going to be whatever came in through the request.post. And what didn't work?
The post equal to request.post and then just use post.
When did that not work? What do you mean? I didn't see this.
Oh, yeah.
You tried doing something like this?
Yeah, you have like post equals plus post, right? Later when I called post, like got the brackets.
And then you did the brackets to get a key in it.
It told me that key was it was not in like the
Multi-key.
Huh.
So
If you hit that again, let me know. I'd love to have a look at it. Because I've never bumped into that specific
it's
issue.
when I did print post,
Mhm.
it printed.
And it showed that those keys existed. The
Yeah.
ones that you were trying to reference.
So the only time I ever got multi-key ticked error is when I was copy and pasting form inputs, but I didn't
Right.
change the name. But I had like 2 first names, and then that's why it wouldn't process. But then the other thing would be capitalization of the post. I don't know.
And here's the thing, like I typed it exactly how I saw it on your login yesterday.
That's why
Hey man, it works for
suspect it's a
me.
Windows
No, I'm
issue.
kidding. Huh?
That's why I suspect it's a Windows issue.
Yeah, I know. It seems like a lot of this stuff.
Just gotta get on the.
Got it? Yeah, talk to Sean. He's
Oh,
got
man,
his
you think Mr. Mastery is
WSL.
over here?
Yeah, man, he's got WSL going. It's pretty nice.
Come to my chest instead.
All right. So let's kind of address that later on, but let's actually get this specific hat so that we can alter individual attributes of it, right? So we'll say hat.objects.get ID equals the hat ID, and then how am I going to change specific things about it?
Set hat dot whatever.
So I can say hat.brand equals post, and then we'll just say brand.
Save it at
Yeah, I know. That's the key, right? So color, and then here we got size. Cool. And then we'll say hat.save. This is the thing that actually saves it in the database. So if you didn't run this and then you just redirected the person, those changes that you made will not persist. Okay.
There's another way to do it without the save. So when you grab the information from like UpdateHat, use filter instead of get. If
Okay.
you use filter, it'll be a list containing the hat object.
Correct.
And then you do hat.update, and then say like brand equal to post brand, color equals to post color, and size equals to post size, and that'll just automatically updates everything. But
So
update-
if you had a list of multiple objects in it, you're
It'll
saying it would
update
update
all
all of them?
yeah, but even for
Isn't
single,
that only with the Django 2.x or something? You
no,
can still
I
do that in
have
our version?
1.1, but it only works on a list. It doesn't work on a
Right.
single object.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, keep that in mind if you guys want to try an alternative approach. We know this works, so let's just go with it for now. We're just going to redirect them right back to the home page. Okay. All right. So let's try to edit one of these guys. Let's change the color to red. What? Why did we go to hats page? Oh.
It's just the form you copied.
Did we just go to the wrong page or something? So it's supposed to go to hat/ID/update, which is a post. Did we end up there? Hang on 1 second. Let me just see if that changed. So if we hit the edit page, and then let's just check to see what this says. So if I view page source, where are we sending it to? To hat/ID/update, post request. Did we even get to that route though? Update hat. Update hat. Was this not saved or something? What route did we hit here? All right. Maybe we changed this. Did we change this after the fact or something?
That worked.
Yeah. What was going on there? That was super,
I think it's
super
basic.
strange.
Yeah, it wasn't updated.
Okay. All right. So yeah, now it's updating. We can keep changing the size or whatever, but you can see how that works. Okay. Any questions?
Did you do the logout page?
Huh?
You did the logout page.
Yeah, so we can log out, right? And then if we try to go back to home page, that was what we did yesterday, then it just won't let us. Okay. Questions? You guys good on this? Stop the video? All right. Cool.